I'm sure he'll talk about it, even though he probably doesn't want to talk about it a lot, the way it ended up. Our game, Riley and I had a great game in Sun Prairie East, Oregon. Got to see something I haven't seen in 4 decades of covering high school sports. The punter kicking the ball out of the end zone for a safety.
You haven't seen that before?
Not in a game that I've actually worked.
Okay.
I've seen it, and it actually happened a week ago. So right away I call, that's a safety. But then we had to wait for the officials because they weren't really sure what was going on, I think. It took 3 or 4 minutes before it's safety and where you have to punt from. But, that was kind of a first. Brady Mellum, one of the best kickers in the state. It was a smart play because Oregon did get one more shot back in there. But if they score there, that was a 21-7 game. Now it's 21-14. That could turn the tide. But now if you make Oregon have to drive the length of the field, and the Sun Prairie defense came through in the clutch. So I thought that was a really good game to cover.
Well, and you mentioned their defense coming through. I mean, Sun Prairie East wins that game at home 21-9 over the Oregon Panthers, and Oregon new first-year head coach Matt Weber. That's one of those things I feel like you guys could probably tell, and Riley Yauk, our producer, he was on the call for that game as well. It just seemed like from what I saw from the game that Oregon's still just trying to kind of figure things out fully. Just kind of figure out who exactly they are, what they have going. The unlimited contact days, I think, definitely helped them with this getting some wins under their belt early on in the season. But they get into this really tough Badger Large conference play. When you're playing the Sun Prairies, you've got to play Monona Grove and Wanakee, some really great teams. This is where we're going to kind of see them struggle, and it came through. I mean, their quarterback, Ethan Pagels, 5 of 19, 60 yards, had an interception in the game, but passing was really coming tough. Was it just like the quarterback struggling? Were there weird conditions that I didn't know about? Out in Sun Prairie, was there a tornado, Riley? Like, what was happening?
You guys talking about the weather? Sorry, I was back here explaining to Owen how the cameras work here, so I missed that part of the conversation.
I was asking, Friday night you were on the call with Sun Prairie East and Oregon, and I'm just trying to figure out the struggle with the passing because
your guess is as good as mine,
okay.
Hunter. We were in the press box, and it didn't make sense. Both quarterbacks, for some reason, were just overthrowing their intended targets. Every single pass seemingly hit off the fingertips, just past the outstretched arms, over the head, into the end zone, out of bounds, whatever. I don't know what happened. Neither quarterback was really dialed in, but thankfully, at least more so on the Sun Prairie side, the running game was locked.
Yeah, Brady Kaufman's one of the best running backs in the state.
He's different.
Saw him as a sophomore and thought this kid's going to be pretty good. Right now he's in the line to set the school record for rushing yards and touchdowns. Matter of fact, he passed the 3,000-yard career mark in our Friday game, which is pretty impressive when you look at that history there for Sun Prairie East. We were more impressed at halftime when Brady Mellum is working on field goals, and he drills one from 50, and it went through the uprights, and it hit up the retaining wall halfway up.
It would have been good from 60 plus. Yeah. It was the most impressive thing I've seen from a high school kicker.
See, now I want to go do a Sun Prairie game just to see their kicker. That's what you guys have just done to me.
Selfishly, at halftime, we were talking about how we wanted to see a game-winning field goal attempt from Brady Mellum from like 60 plus. That would have been sick.
Right. And what do we take away from it? He kicks the ball to the end zone for safety.
Exactly.
That was his big kick of the night.
I mean, you mentioned, though, too, Brady Kaufman, 22 carries, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also impressive because there was a little bit of a scare from a hit he took against McWanago the week before in their 40-3 loss, but they said he was just taken off the field with the ambulance as a precaution. Everything was fine. Obviously, everything was fine because you don't carry the ball 22 times for 170 yards if there's something wrong with you. So Brady Kaufman showing yet again why he's one of the best running backs in the entire state.
You talk about yards after contact. It was like every play, 5, 6, 7 yards dragging guys, 2, 3 guys into the secondary. I think his first couple of runs were 10 plus. So you see how the impact he had. What happened the week before McWanago? You go, how did they beat Verona and then lose by that much? Mm-hmm. Well, the heart and soul. You see a guy go down. That affects him emotionally, mentally. And then McWanago's a very good team, a Classic 8. So that game's actually going to help them down the road because they were tested and they bounced back, and now their running back's back, and you got to keep him healthy because that's going to be a key to their offense, I think, all year.
Yeah, it definitely will be. Quickly, some other scores from the Badger Large Conference. We mentioned that Sun Prairie East getting the 21-9 win over Oregon. We'll talk about it more later, but an overtime victory for the Waunakee Warriors, as well as Riley Auk's alma mater, the Milton Redhawks.
Let's go.
Getting a 28-7 win over the Sun Prairie West Wolves. And then the team will be seeing, Dennis, you and I, on Friday as well. The DeForest Norskies, a 48-7 win over Fort Atkinson. But this Badger Large, there is a difficult game every single week, no matter who you play. It might not get all of the headlines that the Classic 8 does with all of the state titles and everything like that, outside of, Waunakee doing what Waunakee's always done. But this is a really good, deep conference, and any one of these teams, I think, could give somebody a really, really difficult time come playoff time.
Yeah, the Sun Prairie East-West game, that's going to be a week from Friday night, the 19th. They're actually going to celebrate the 1995 state championship when Sun Prairie was one high school.
Yep.
And that's going to be an emotional game. Sun Prairie East is dominated the last couple of years, but West is kind of struggling. Fort Atkinson has struggled the last couple of years. They're probably the two teams, though, but you can't look past them because somebody's going to make a good play or things just don't go your way. But that game will be a good one to keep an eye on next week just because of the rivalry and honoring that team. And realize since 1995, Sun Prairie East has only had three coaches. Coach Kaminsky, 24th year. And the other, I got to mention Coach Bass. He got his 295th win as a coach in the game we covered. So they got to win 5 more games this year for him to get 300. I think they'll do it.
Yeah, I definitely think they will as well. Some other area scores of note before we head to break here. The Mount Horeb Barneveld Vikings getting a win against Beaver Dam up at Beaver Dam High School, 28-19. That was a good bounce back. Mount Horeb struggling early in the year, so for them to go and take down a really good Beaver Dam squad on the road, that's a big win for them. Stoughton got a win over Kettle Moraine Lutheran, 26-14. Edgewood, a big 39-3 win against Kewaskum. Edgewood, I think a team that everybody's going to be looking out for now with Aiden and Ashton Fickle, the sons of Luke Fickle, playing really good football right now. Gannon Bagstad, their quarterback. That's a team that to watch out for.
3-0 start, yeah, and we're going to be seeing them here a couple weeks down the road.
Yeah, and then a team that we'll be talking a little bit more about a little bit later on in our program, the Plymouth Panthers getting a win over Portage, as well as Port Washington taking down Lakeside Lutheran 31-7, and then Sauk Prairie with a nice 23-19 win over Watertown for the other Badger small games as well. Sauk Prairie, again, one of those teams, there's so many teams that I feel like, Dennis, this year who they're not normally someone that you would expect to be a like a Waunakee. They're going to make a deep run. We expect that out of them. But if you told me, Sauk Prairie, they're going to end up in level 3 of the playoffs, I wouldn't be shocked. They just, all of these teams kind of have that feel that if they get the right matchup level 1, they can get that win, and then they build that momentum in the playoffs. All of a sudden, the next thing you know, they're deep in a game in level 3 with a chance to go to a state semifinal.
Well, Caden Hermsdorf, running back, he's a quarterback who's a running back, basically. I mean, he's been able to hit some passes, but he was a starting safety last year. This is the second time that a defensive back has come over and had a start. It was Landon Schultz the last couple of years. But their defense has been playing pretty well there, and that was something they thought they could hang their hats on. They had 6 returning all-conference players back there. Offense, they had to replace 9, and the problem right now is their run game, other than the quarterback, Hermsdorf, is kind of struggled. So they have to get that in order. And they have not been able to win on the road a lot the last couple of years.
Which you're going to have to do.
That was a big win for them, winning at Watertown, even though they beat Watertown heavily the year before. Still getting a road win, building a little momentum coming up.
Definitely. And then finally with the Big 8 conference being the other area conference here on PrepMania Weekly, Madison La Follette, they fell on the road to Janesville Craig 47-0, as well as then it was a lot of blowout wins in the Big 8 this past week, with Madison West getting a 48-0 win on their crosstown rivals Madison East, and then Middleton winning 35-13 at Mansfield against Vel Phillips Memorial, and then finally Verona bouncing back. They struggled early in the season. They played some really good non-conference games, but got a 30-0 win against Janesville Parker. So really great for Andrew Riley and the Verona Wildcats to get that victory, kind of start getting things rolling again, because they have much higher expectations than I think what they were showing these first 2 weeks. So for them to get a win, I think that was huge.
Yeah, the Sun Prairie loss, was toward the end, the last 3 minutes, a long touchdown pass, and then they lost to Oconomowoc 13-7. So, it's going to take a while to kind of get some stuff going, but now that extends that winning streak in the conference. Coach Riley's 22-0 as head coach in the Big 8. So we'll see what happens with them this week, but they got a big one with Middleton coming up in a couple of weeks.
They definitely do, and that's a game you and I will see. They'll be playing on a Saturday night for that one. Because of the lack of officials, they've had to move a lot of games to Thursdays and Saturdays now to be able to accommodate all of that. So Verona and Middleton, a Saturday night game. That'll be so much fun. The Badgers are off. High school football on a Saturday night. That's not something we really ever get. Do you remember the last time you guys did a Saturday night game here?
No, not really. I remember when the field opened up, when they first did turf field for Middleton. Verona played on a Saturday night there. That was the weekend. They had games on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We had like 16 inches of rain that weekend.
Oh, geez.
And so their teams were looking for fields. So I remember covering a game there for the paper. But the thing I like about it is I'm not on a deadline. I'm not having to write a game starting 5 minutes afterwards. So that's a good way to spend a Saturday night watching high school football. Instead of Friday night lights, it's Saturday night lights. So as long as you're on a field somewhere, it's a good night.
Definitely. As this is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. We're also brought to you by the GRB Academy. Interested in getting individual or group lessons from some of the highest level of coaching for the baseball player in your life? The GRB Academy offers individual and group lessons for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit grbacademy.com for more information. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player. When we come back, we unveil the small school poll for our ESPN Wisconsin Media Poll. Coming up next here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly on ESPN Madison.
You're listening to Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, breaking down more from this week in area high school sports next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
GNC knows that you're not always feeling it at the gym, but don't get down, get lit, and get more out of every workout. Beyond Raw Lit is a clinically dosed pre-workout that flips the switch and gives you more energy, focus, intensity, and pumps. The perfect combo for a killer workout. Plus, it's got incredible flavors and thousands of 5-star reviews, so you know it's good. Pick it up at GNC stores or go to gnc.com.
From kickoff to cash out, ESPN Bet has the tools you need to score more on game days. Bet smarter with stats at your fingertips. Get personalized parlays built just for you. And with your fantasy team synced right in the app, you can back your squad. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you bet $10. Sign up with promo code USL to get started. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Hey, it's Riley Yauk. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on social media for PrepMania On Deck, each week's preview for the top games and events. PrepMania On Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
The power of friendship has spawned a memorable baseball season in Milwaukee. When you choose to work with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the relationship is more than what feels like having a friend. Pella honors trust and commitment on your behalf before, during, and after the sale. They take those values to heart with every person the Pella team works with. It's natural to feel a little apprehensive about having someone visit your home, but take it from me and my wife. The brilliant Pella designers immediately put you at ease with their experience and professionalism. We love that initial visit, along with how easy they made it to envision bringing our project to life. Pella is committed to being the company everyone wants to do business with, and they've certainly lived up to that and more. And with this month's incredible deal, Gina Della from Pella is here to share why you shouldn't wait to order new windows and doors.
Order today and get 0% interest for up to 60 months. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 9/30/2025.
We shopped at Chalmers because my husband wanted to get me a larger diamond in my engagement ring.
The folks at Chalmers said, well, we could just make it like this and we could do these things. Really just basically decided that there wasn't any place else we wanted to shop.
But not only did they create this new engagement ring for me with this gorgeous center stone, they also rehabbed this other ring, and I am beyond pleased.
Her favorite thing to do now is to walk around and show her hands and have people comment on it.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Former basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal is DJ Diesel, and he's coming to the Sylvie on Friday, September 19th. Catch Shaq and his Base All-Stars live. Tickets on sale now at Sylvie.com. Don't miss your chance to see Shaq, DJ Diesel live in Madison on September 19th.
ESPN Madison is your home for Wisconsin Badgers volleyball.
Underneath it, bump set, left side, powers it down. What a rally, and Wisconsin comes out on top.
From early season showdowns to a run for the national title, hear every match this season on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Blocked by Bucky.
Wisconsin Badgers volleyball on ESPN Madison is presented by Steinhoffels and Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also brought to you by Northwestern Mutual of Southern Wisconsin.
This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. Also brought to you by Gruber Law Offices, as they have a reputation of winning. Their experienced, powerful team works tirelessly to help people and families seriously injured in accidents by providing the best care and service. There is never a fee until they win your case. Gruber Law Offices has been serving the people and state of Wisconsin for over 35 years. Dennis, one call.
That's all.
Dennis, can we turn our mic on?
It's on.
Yeah. Thank you, Riley. Out. Let's try that again. Dennis, one call.
That's all.
There we go. Oh, Dennis Semrau.
I thought it was controlled by there. I never turn it on when I'm in here. You guys always turn it on for me.
The diva, Dennis Semrau.
We'll keep that in mind going forward. Only the best treatment for you,
Yes.
Dennis.
I'll remember that. That's what happens when you put your drink right in front of the.
Oh my
I didn't see it was off. Sorry.
That's why you're the GOAT, Dennis.
It's true. It's true. Really,
really goat.
Only goat behavior. Could you be like, oh, I'm not going to turn my mic on. They'll turn it on for me. I love you, Dennis.
You don't want to hear from me.
Yes, we do.
No,
not
it's
true.
your show.
Dennis, you have over 40 years of experience covering high school sports.
Thanks for reminding me of that.
No, I genuinely don't mean that as a slight on you at all. Like you said, it took you 40 years to see a kick go through the back of the end zone.
And I've covered a lot of games over that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like, you have seen a lot. You know this better than anybody else that I know. So that's why it just makes sense that, yes, we want to hear from you, Dennis. Again, I teased this coming into the break, but our media poll, we're into week 3. This is our 4th poll, but the 3rd week, as we had a preseason poll. We're going to begin with our small school poll as we start with the number 10 team, and that is the St. Mary's Springs. They're 2-1. They had a week 1 loss, but they've won their last 2 games, and now they host Lemira this Friday. That's a team we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So a big one for St. Mary Springs coming up. And then at number 9, Potosi Cassville. They're 3-0 from the Six Rivers Conference, and they've got basically a conference title battle coming up here at the end of the season for them, as they will be taking on Blackhawk Warren for that one. So, Dennis, the first two teams, not a whole lot of change, just flip-flopping spots. Potosi-Cassville was number 10 last week. St. Mary's was 9, and now they flip spots.
Yeah, Spring's the only team in the top 10, spoiler, with one loss.
Yeah.
But, of course, they're always perennial top 10 team. But Potosi-Cassville lost to Edgar in the D7 championship game last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. I went through the polls. Of the 16 teams that made it to state last year, 10 are in one of our 3 polls, which tells you excellence. You know, what is it? Tradition never graduates, the old saying goes. Well, Potosi-Cassville, I think, pretty good team. They got a good running game. Hunter White's a good running back for them. And I really, that's a team that, when I think of Potosi-Cassville, I think of Cassville basketball back in the heyday with Sam Oakey and whatever. And one of the co-ops in the state that I'm glad they're co-oping. So, yeah, I know you got 8-man football, but I'm still a traditionalist. I 11-man football. And when you can combine a couple teams together and keep it alive and be as successful as they have been the last few years,
definitely,
that's a good program.
Then we continue on with our media poll, and we have a tie at number 7 between Lemira and Blackhawk Warren. So Lemira, from another flyaway conference team like St. Mary Springs, again, they will play each other on Friday. But Lemira, they're 3-0. They're coming back after making it to a state title game as well. And then Blackhawk Warren feels like they're constantly there, as again another Six Rivers team. So the first 4 teams on this coming from 2 conferences, with Blackhawk Warren and Lemira joining Potosi-Cassville and St. Mary Springs in our top 10. Then at number 6, Boyceville, they're 2-0. They had a week 1 game canceled. So Boyceville, after they've played now their 2 games, Dennis, they've outscored their opponent in 2 weeks 106-0.
Ouch. Do you believe that? Yeah.
Boyceville, they feel like they're a team that's just on a mission. It'll be really interesting as they start going into conference play on their end now, what they're able to do here, and if they continue this dominant streak that they have been on the last couple of weeks. Then at number 5, our first team that received a first-place vote. They've been receiving first-place votes for a few weeks, but Kenosha St. Joseph's, the Lancers, they're 3-0 on the year. They sit at number 5, and that's right where they were last week. Speaking of teams that haven't moved at all, number 4, the Regis Ramblers, as we head up to Eau Claire. They've been a staple in this poll since we started doing it last year. They sit at number 4. They haven't allowed a touchdown since week 1, where they gave up 14 points, but those were 14 garbage time points for Regis. So, Dennis, not a lot of movement again.
Yeah, averaging a lot of points there. Regis is one of those teams. Last week they won 43-0. They just kind of cruise through, and you have your conference championship game kind of, but you get kind of feeling that they're just preparing for the playoffs. They assume they're going to be there every year, and they usually are.
Yeah, they usually are, and honestly, it's getting to the point with Regis where you expect them at least to be like a level 4 team, because they're just that good of a program up in Regis. Then at number 3, Grantsburg. Last week they were number 2. They fall down a spot, even though they received more points in our poll. We just happen to have more higher end points for the rest of our voters, as Grantsburg is at number 3. The Pirates 3-0, looking to get back to Camp Randall after they lost in the D6 title game to Lemira. So interesting that the runners-up of D6, Grantsburg, being looked more favorably upon than the Lemira Lions early on in this season.
Yeah, by the way, just going back to Regis, when you have so many points, you're scoring whatever. They have 17 guys that have rushed at least one carry this year. 17?
Wow.
There's a lot of teams that don't have that many players on offense for the small school. So I think that number just jumped out at me. I had to make sure I got that one out there. That was phenomenal for them.
And so then we get another team that received a first-place vote, Darlington. They move up from number 3 to number 2. Last week they also got a first-place vote in our small school poll, but they still hold into that top 5, moving up one spot to number 2. And then at number 1, the dominating Edgar Wildcats. They had a 27-0 win over Mark Tauscher's alma mater, Auburndale, and then the week before that, another dominating win, 14-0 against a perennial power in Stratford. So Edgar, they get 12 first-place votes. They get the number 1 spot in our small school poll. And Dennis, Edgar just feels like an unstoppable force at this point. They were basically number 1 or number 2 for almost all of last year in our in most of the polling, and again, they stick at number 1 in our small school poll.
Well, you take a look at their stats. Again, that's another team that's been able to play a few players rushing the ball. They are averaging about 5.5 yards a carry, but the big thing is they've always been a defensive type team. And we've had years where it's kind of interesting to see when's somebody going to score, how many shutouts are they going to have. Mm-hmm. And the way they've started out this year has been dominant. But I like Darlington, though. They're averaging a ton of, about, I think, almost close to 10 yards a carry, I believe. Darlington, the Redbirds have had a great year. They beat Mineral Point 56-0 last week. And that's usually a pretty good rival for them. So they're going to draw a few first-place votes, but you got to go with the team that they're the defending state champ, and until somebody knocks them off, they beat Stratford early, and that was a big one for them. So I don't know if they're gonna if they don't lose, they're not going to move out of number 1. I don't think anybody's going to, you get a couple votes here or there, but they're the big dog on the small school poll.
Yeah, and you mentioned Darlington, just looking at some of their stats, they're as a team averaging 8.7 yards per carry. They've got a number of guys that have some, single carry, 18-yard touchdowns kind of a thing, but averaging 8 yards per carry. By the way, then their quarterback through 3 games, he's only thrown the ball 30 times. So you know what you're getting out of Darlington. It's just can you stop it? Right. Because all of these small schools, that's what they do. They're going to run the wing tee. They're just going to try and run the ball down your throat because they have to. They don't consistently get the athletes to be able to go and spread you out and have a bunch of receivers and throw the ball. But what they've got farm boys to play on the O-line, and they can get guys that can carry the ball and just wear out defenses.
Well, I like to say they have the natural running clock because they run the ball so much. And then when they do get a running clock, I'm sure the officials have early dinner plans those nights when they look at them on the schedule.
They definitely do. So, again, our top 10 in the Week 3 media poll for the ESPN Wisconsin Media Poll. St. Mary Springs at number 10. Potosi Cassville is 9. A tie at 7 with Blackhawk Warren and Lomira. The number 6, Boyceville. Number 5, Kenosha St. Joseph Catholic, receiving 1 first-place vote. Then Regis at number 4. Grantsburg, number 3. Darlington also getting a first-place vote, but they're at number 2. And then Edgar with 12 first-place votes, taking the number 1 spot for another week in a row. We'll take another break. When we come back, we're going to hear from our UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Jake Buckles, as this is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly on ESPN Madison.
More of Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly coming up next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Come see what the buzz is all about at Madison Axe, Madison's state-of-the-art entertainment spot. Enjoy 8 lanes of axe throwing, interactive games, plus digital target projection and scoring. For even more fun, check out their indoor backyard with 2,000 square feet of shuffleboard, cornhole, yard games, bar table games, and more. Perfect for date night, groups, corporate meetings, or private events. Madison Axe is your destination for all things fun. Throw it, nail it, celebrate. Go to MadisonAxe.com or head to their location on Stoughton Road today.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com, because your next Mercedes Sprinter van is waiting for you.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here with a refreshing offer for a bath or shower remodel from Kohler Services. Well, this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and 0 interest financing for 12 months. My new buddy Chris from Oostburg is one of their skilled installers who demos your existing bath or shower, removes it, and disposes it before installing your brand new dream shower. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Hi, I'm attorney David Gruber. After an accident, you need a trusted winning team on your side. For more than 30 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped Wisconsin families get the results they deserve. If you've been injured, call our firm today for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
At Siding Unlimited, we're really excited for the fall season. Not only are we proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics, we are also fired up for an exciting fall season cheering on football and volleyball. If that's not enough, we're really excited to share with you that Siding Unlimited is Wisconsin's best window and door installation team. Siding Unlimited is a Pella Platinum Premier National Contractor of the Year award winner 5 times. Looking for new windows and doors? Visit us at sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
When it comes to your health, do you want to buy something online or do you want to meet with someone local? A local doctor with a family-owned business that cares about you. That's right, you want to meet with Nestor Rodriguez and Ashley Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. You have questions about cryotherapy, red light therapy, hormone replacement treatments, GLP-1s, or you just want to have a great workout. Carbon World Health is there for you. They have a new location in Sun Prairie and they have their original location in Madison. So when it comes to your health, there's nowhere better to go than Carbon World Health in Madison and now in Sun Prairie.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
That justice is the one thing you should always find. You gotta saddle up your boys, you gotta draw a hard line. When the gun smoke settles, we'll sing a victory tune, and we'll all meet back at the local saloon. We'll raise up our glasses against evil forces.
This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. Also brought to you by Pizza Hut, and introducing Pizza Hut's new handcrafted personal flats pizza. Enjoyed bold recipes like Nashville hot chicken, pepperoni duo, 3 cheese, ultimate, and chicken bacon ranch. $5 each all day long. Order online at pizzahut.com. Pizza Hut, the official pizza of PrepMania. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Said it before the break. It is now time for our UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week. And we head to Sauk Prairie, where the Dean had a chance to talk with Jake Buckles, our UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
Our ESPN Madison UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Jake Buckles, Sauk Prairie High School. Jake, welcome.
Thanks for having me on here. So
man, we go way back. 4-year starter, you're going to be on offense. 3rd year on defense. What does mean Eagle, especially in football? I know basketball and track as well, but particularly football. What does it mean to you to be an Eagle?
It means a lot to me. Wearing that jersey every night. It means a lot to me every night. But I think what it means most to me is the thing I've learned is, I think, just bouncing back. Like when crap hits the fan, like you always bounce back, stuff like that. I mean, it means a lot to me walking out with my teammates every night. Seeing the fans. So
you're a multiple sport athlete. How does football help basketball and track, and how do they all kind of work together for you?
Track is one of those sports I've just done over the years, become a better athlete, but I've also learned ways to take care of my body, ways to become faster, and it's really taught me a different side of training. I would say my freshman and sophomore year, I was really big on I'm just going to lift, and then I really realized I'm just like, no, like I have to add more things into my workouts, become an all-around athlete.
When you look back in your time, you still got your senior year, but Sauk Prairie, what are you going to remember most about Sauk Prairie High School?
I think the thing I'm going to remember is just all my football memories. I'll just be honest, like I don't have a ton of memories outside of that. Like, Sauk's a good school and stuff like that, but I feel like I've learned the most lessons from sports. Pushing, just when stuff's hard, you keep trying to improve and keep trying to get better. I think I also remember some of those teachers I've had, like Mr. Nye, TB. They just taught me to be a more well-rounded person. In my younger days, I'm 17, but when I was 14, 15, I was just really sports everything. And I was like that. But I learned in my sophomore, junior year, I was like, that's not everything. There's more to life than putting a football through a goalpost or putting a basketball in a hoop. There's so much more to life than that. It's work. All this stuff is preparing you for your life, for your job, for your family, when you have kids and stuff like that. So I think I'm grateful for the life lessons I've learned here. And I think if I would not do anything, if I had to think back, I always told myself when I got here, I said, when I get here, I'm going to leave this place better than I left it, and I'm going to have no regrets. And I would say right now, I've had no regrets, and I feel like I've left this place better than I left it, but I still have another year to go, and we still have a lot more to do. So a lot of unfinished business, and I'm really happy with the stuff we've done, but we still have a lot more to do, and I really want these kids, these freshmen, sophomore, and juniors, I want them to look back and just be like, you know what, he gave it his all, and I want them to learn something from me, just, treat people with respect, and we had a hard time with that, and when we first got here, but just always treat people with respect and kindness, and always try to make each other better.
Again, that was our UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Jake Buckles, as he is from Sauk Prairie High School, and the Eagles currently 2-1 on the season. Their lone loss coming to Holman 42-0 in Week 2, but they've got a big Week 4 matchup against the Beaver Dam Golden Beavers coming up this Friday night. If you're dreaming of transforming your home into a space you've always wanted, Wanakee Remodeling can make it happen, and their expert team is there to bring your vision to life. They're local, reliable, and dedicated to quality craftsmanship. Schedule a free consultation today at WanakeeRemodeling.com. We'll continue our unveiling of our media polls next, as we will have the medium school poll coming up, as well as, again, we'll be joined by the head coach of the Monona Grove Silver Eagles, Brandon Beckwith, as they get ready to take on DeForest this Friday. And unfortunately for him, we've got to talk about their overtime loss to the Wanakee Warriors. And that's all coming up next on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly here on ESPN Madison.
You're listening to Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, breaking down more from this week in area high school sports next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
What would you do if you had a little bit more money to do it?
I'd go to law school.
I'd open a bakery. I'd travel to visit my grandparents I haven't seen in 10 years. We all have things we want to do in life, and there are people who want to help you do them. So how do we best ask for that help? GoFundMe, the #1 fundraising platform. No matter what your goals are, GoFundMe helps you take an important step toward them. Start your GoFundMe today at GoFundMe.com/radio. That's GoFundMe.com/radio. This is a commercial message sponsored by GoFundMe.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
I knew that we were going to be getting engaged soon and needed to do some ring shopping. Heard the radio ads of Chalmers and decided, hey, we should give it a shot at Chalmers.
They were just awesome at accepting us through the door and understanding what she wanted in terms of how she wanted it, and they delivered.
Everybody always is telling me how sparkly my ring is. They tell me that they really like the style of the ring and the setting that it's in. I am ecstatic with it.
Thank you, Chalmers.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
Liberty Station American Tavern and Smokehouse isn't just a barbecue restaurant. Open daily for lunch and dinner, Liberty Station serves American comfort food with regional touches using many locally sourced ingredients. The bar at Liberty Station offers vintage cocktails created in a classic style, local craft beers, plus a wide array of wine options. And be sure to check out their sprawling patio with an indoor and outdoor porch area. Liberty Station, conveniently located just off the Beltline on Rimrock Road.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar, the better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. Pure refreshment. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. Oh yeah, so good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
I got some good friends that live down the street. Got a good-looking woman with her arms around me. Live in a small...
This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. As we have gone through our small school poll, we've heard from our UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week. And we'll be going through our medium school poll now as well for the ESPN Wisconsin Media Poll. As we begin with our number 10 team and the first appearance ever in our media polls, Dennis, the Plymouth Panthers, getting 16 points, and that was enough to put them in the 10 spot in our media poll.
Yeah, Plymouth, they haven't given up a point in 9 quarters. So you look at the defense, 112-12. Devin Miller's their leading runner right now, but 3-0. And shutout, back-to-back. We'll see what they can do here coming up in Week 4.
And then moving up in our media poll, we go to Baldwin Woodville. They were number 9 last week. They stay at number 9 from the Middle Border Conference. They're at scoring just over 40 points a game in all 3 of their games this year. So that offense for Baldwin Woodville, they're just on fire. They lost to Racine St. Catherine's in the Division 4 championship game. And I should rephrase that. They basically lost to Lamont Hamilton, the wide receiver for Racine St. Catherine's in the D4 title game. They're looking to get back to Camp Randall, and so far they're doing everything they need to do that.
Yeah, they still scored 22 points. So it was 26-22. That was a really good game. I remember I'm part of, if I'm not calling the game, I'm part of the stats crew, and that was one of our fun games last year.
It definitely was. At number 8, the Columbus Cardinals, their only loss on the season, coming to Aquinas, 34-13. Aquinas we'll be talking about a little bit later on in this poll. So if you're a school like Columbus, you're at number 8, but your one loss is to one of the best teams in the medium school in that Divisions 3, Division 4 range. So Columbus, they're doing just fine even with that one loss.
49-7 over Lodi. And this is when they were kind of worried because their quarterback, Peyton Powers, was hurt. And so when they lost to Aquinas, he missed, I think, most of the second half. But he ended up 7 of 12, 118 yards, 7 attempts, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns rushing. And it was interesting. Jordan Mowbray, a good wide receiver, had to go in and play quarterback. They both took reps during the week. Jordan was one of the happiest guys on the team that he wanted Peyton to be the quarterback and just go out catching his passes. And boy, after when your third-year quarterback goes down, we talked about that with the Sun Prairie runner. When Kaufman went down, how that kind of takes the heart out of it. Well, when your quarterback goes down, there's something about the next man in, but in high school, it's not quite the same. The guy's number one for a reason. So it was really good to see Peyton get back, and for a rivalry game, that was kind of a surprise.
It definitely was, and Lodi was tied with Columbus at number 10 last week in our media poll, so we were expecting a close, tight game, and Columbus was like, nah, we're not letting that happen. We're going to take care of business at home. Moving up to number 7 in our media poll, Racine St. Catharines, the Angels of Racine St. Catharines, the defending D4 champions, and we've got to talk about what happened with them as They've started 2-0 on the year. They're 2-1 now after they fell to Brown Deer last week. But 20 of their players were suspended because of a altercation that ended up erupting on the field against Milwaukee Academy of Science. They ended up calling that game when it was a 38-0 game, and they just said, nope, we're not going to be playing anymore. And then those 20 players being suspended obviously hurt Racine St. Catharines. So even with that big loss to Brown Deer, Racine St. Catharines still staying in the top 10 at number 7.
Yeah, you have to give the coaches credit just trying to put a team together when you lose that many players. And when it usually happens, it's not like it's the JV team out there or the bottom. It's guys that were starters. So you're going to expect that. So in my vote this week, I still kept them up there because I think they are a top 10 team. You'll take that out. Now, if these suspensions are longer and they go down next week, then that changes the whole dynamic for that team. And if anybody gets kicked off the team, that's another factor. So we'll keep an eye on that score this coming week.
We definitely will. Continuing on in our medium poll for the ESPN Wisconsin Media Poll, the 6th-ranked Grafton Blackhawks, they're 3-0. Grafton has just felt like a staple since about the second half of last year with our media polls. They've just been sticking around there. A really great program going on in Grafton. They're at number 6. Then
their defense, though, they've got 7 interceptions and a fumble recovery in 3 weeks. They've only given up 3 touchdowns in 3 weeks, 83-22 on the season. And again, another team, Jack Nelson's, is a running back? They've actually, the other stat, 21 players have tackles.
Wow.
So you think about, they're getting, this is a smart coach, getting a lot of guys off the bench, getting them some reps. When you get blowouts, sometimes coaches want to keep your starters out there. Early in the year, play as many guys as you can. As you get toward playoffs, you got to have your starters out there just to get used to playing 3-4 quarters. But 21 guys with tackles, that's an impressive number.
Plus, it gives guys an opportunity to earn their varsity letter who maybe would have been fringe if you're in a lot of tight games and you can't go quite as deep onto your bench, too. So that helps the kids out, too.
Yeah, when you walk in that locker room, you got to take a shower because you played and you contributed. That's a good night.
Definitely. Continuing on, the number 5 team, the Winneconne Wolves, they were number 6 last week. They move up 1 spot to number 5, and their quarterback, Brody Schaefer, the Iowa commit, he's got over 700 total yards between running and passing, and he's got the Wolves rolling towards a potential Bay Conference title. So the Winneconne Wolves at number 5. Then at number 4, the team getting a first-place vote. I get to see who voted for who. Dennis, I don't think it's going to be too much of a surprise if I won't out our voter that gave Aquinas a number 1 vote, but I don't think you'll have to guess too far.
No, I know it is too. Yeah,
yes.
We'll let him go. Just like we know who was giving Sussex Hamilton a vote.
Yes, a few weeks back there too. Yes. But that's, and I'll out him. It was Todd Sommerfeld, one of our senior members of our committee, who has been a huge help to me getting this going and somebody that we rely on a ton. We'll hear from him later on in our PrepMania Weekly. We'll have him on and talk about our polls as well. And he's from lacrosse.
Right,
so.
52-6 over Arcadia. They thumped him, yeah.
Yep.
So he's getting to see him firsthand. So it'll be interesting to hear his take once we get him on here in a few weeks.
And then another powerhouse team like Aquinas, Catholic Memorial's number 3, as head coach Bill Young just has them rolling. Their lone loss on the season as a D3 team for Catholic Memorial was a 23-20 loss to Division I Franklin. That's a Franklin team that is in the top 10 in our large school media poll as well, a perennial power, and they only lost by 3. So Catholic Memorial, an outstanding team.
Right, yeah, they belong in there. Some might say they eventually with the success factor move them up in division. Some teams would like to see them in Division I anyway because they play like it every year.
They'll probably end up getting there as the team that beat them in the Division III championship game last year, the Notre Dame Tritons at number 2, getting 5 first-place votes, and they had Christian Collins. He set a record at Camp Randall for rushing yards in a game, and they've got Kingston Allen now, a junior running back. He has over 700 yards through the first 3 weeks of the season. They're rolling as well. The Tritons looking to get back to Camp Randall.
Another team, 25 passes.
Yeah,
so you know what they're going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Just give it to Kingston. He is the king of the court, king of the locker room. But I'm sure he's got a pretty good offensive line in front of him again this year. They always do up there.
And then number 1, Rice Lake, the defending Division II runners-up. They had won Division III the previous year. Then they went to Division II, fell to Slinger in the D2 title game. But Rice Lake, they're undefeated. They got 9 first-place votes, and they sit at number 1 yet again in our medium school poll.
That's another team. You look at most of these teams so far we've talked about have great running games. They're averaging almost 300 yards rushing. But there's a school coming up in D1 that's even better than that we'll talk about.
We definitely will, as that is our medium school poll for the ESPN Wisconsin Media Poll. Again, number 10, Plymouth, number 9, Baldwin Woodville, 8, Columbus, 7, Racine St. Catharines, 6, Grafton, 5, Winneconne. At number 4, Aquinas getting 1 first-place vote. Then number 3, Catholic Memorial. Number 2, Notre Dame with 5 first-place votes. And then at number 1, again, Rice Lake, the Warriors with 9 first-place votes, getting that number 1 spot. So that is our medium school poll. Dennis, a team that was in our medium school poll, they fell out. I wanted to quickly talk about Mount Horeb Barneveld. They fell 2 points short of the top 10 with 14 points. So the way the points work, for those that don't know, you get a first place vote, you get 10 points, working your way down then to, if you get a 10th place vote, you get 1 single point. All of those combined give you your point totals. So Mount Horeb Barneveld falling 2 points shy of getting into the top 10 instead of Plymouth. But they're a really great team. You and I are both really high on the Vikings of Mount Horeb Barneveld.
Yeah, they lost the win over Beaver Dam. They gave up a kickoff return for a touchdown and interception, a pick 6. So their defense has been playing very well. Brooks Hendrickson, outstanding quarterback for them. And Jack Wilson's really toting the football this year for him. A great linebacker. He's getting a lot of carries this year in the backfield. Hayden Anderson, another guy, a tight end, who's going to be playing up at St. Thomas in another year. He's going to be playing with a guy that we're going to be talking about, Ziegler, the quarterback over at DeForest.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years, we're going to be talking about them in college. But for now, Mount Horeb, after that opening loss to Grafton the first week, it was, as we see, has been a pretty good team. Mount Horeb Barneveld's for real, and another good one for them this week.
Definitely another good one for them is they will be taking on Watertown this Friday. But their big game really for Mount Horeb. I mean, Stoughton's a solid team. They'll be tested against them. Then they follow that up at home against Sauk Prairie. They'll go on the road to Lakeside Lutheran. But then that second to last game of the year where they'll be at home against Edgewood, that, I think, is going to be the tough one. Jesse Norris and the Crusaders of Edgewood, they've got something rolling right now, like I talked about at the beginning of the program. That could be a conference title game on October 10th when they take on Edgewood.
Yeah, Edgewood's a team we've got to keep an eye on. In our poll, they ended up with 4 points, so I think that's a tie for 17th if you look at the point total. They're going to be moving up close to top 10. By the time they get to that game, I think they could still be unbeaten. So we'll have to keep an eye on that group just down the road here.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess that some of those points maybe came from you, Dennis Semrau.
Yeah. Yep. I think they're a top 10 team.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I didn't look directly at yours like I said, outing Todd's first place vote for Aquinas. He's covered them in lacrosse. Yeah.
Kind of, I did somebody when I was doing the AP poll, it was like your top 8 are pretty good, and then 9 and 10, you got a couple local teams. You got some teams that you should keep an eye on or are on a hot streak. Lake Mills, we looked at. That's a team that.
Who, by the way, Lake Mills coming in 12th, it would have been with 9 points. And I am so high on Tyler Woline. Honestly, I could do an entire show about how great I think that offense for Lake Mills is. He has 15 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he is averaging 20 yards a completion for Lake Mills through phenomenal. 3 weeks. It's ridiculous. And he's a junior, Dennis.
Right.
So, unfortunately, the state's going to be seeing, great for us. Unfortunately for the other coaches and defensive coordinators, they've got to deal with him for another year.
And their big test will be Columbus and Lodi.
Yep,
particularly
definitely.
Columbus, the way that game with Lodi worked out. But, hey, by the end of the season, you never know. We're going to stay healthy. And that's another one. He's thrown to a lot of different receivers. So spreading the wealth, as they say.
Definitely is. That is our medium school poll for the ESPN Wisconsin Media Poll. After the break, when we start hour 2 of Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, Dennis and I talked about it at the beginning of the show. We're going to talk about it now. A surprising battle, I think, that took place up at Wanakee last Friday, where the Wanakee Warriors had an overtime victory over Monona Grove. And then we're going to be talking to the head coach of the Monona Grove Silver Eagles, Brandon Beckwith. Plus, we've got our large school poll coming up as well. All of that and more to come here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly on ESPN Madison.
More of Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly coming up next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Hi, it's Eric from Canopy Wealth Management. Our years of experience have prepared us to guide you through your life transitions. Our local professional team brings over 90 years of collective experience in the wealth management industry for the benefit of our clients. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started on your financial future today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Start your career where the road to success is paved in coffee. At Dunkin' Donuts, we're now hiring crew members and hourly shift leaders at our locally owned locations. Dunkin' offers flexible schedules, employee discounts, health and dental benefits, and paid time off. Plus, bolster your resume with our own leadership training program and even scholarship opportunities. Up to $1,500 per semester. Text Team Spirit to 85000 or visit teamtmart.com/careers to apply. Dunkin', America runs on you.
You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Jim Rutledge here. What is a better buying experience? Well, that's the thing. You get to define it. It is the experience that is customized to you. What experience do you want at a car dealership? They can be your trusted friend or your trusted expert. So if you're in the market for a new or new-to-you Silverado, Colorado, Blazer, Trailblazer, remember, you're only minutes away from a better buying experience. And that's at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
Have you been waiting to buy your next home? Stop. Now is the time to get housed. What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Nobody has a crystal ball to know what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better the chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to help start your search. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get housed.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
The biggest moments.
One man to beat up the right sideline.
See ya, baby.
99-yard touchdown run.
The biggest games.
Back-to-back state championships.
The biggest stories from area high school sports. This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Alongside the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau, here's Hunter Vaughn.
This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Like the big voice said, I am Hunter Vaughn. As we've gone through our medium school and small school media polls, heard from our UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Jake Buckles. And now, Dennis, we've got to talk about this crazy game that took place up in Waunakee between the Waunakee Warriors and the Monona Grove Silver Eagles. So this was a game where Waunakee had the lead at half. They're up 7-0. And if you're Monona Grove, Dennis, I have to imagine, we'll talk to Coach Beckwith coming up a little bit later here, you've got to be feeling great about things. Only down 7-0 to the Waunakee Warriors. I mean, they are the Alabama or the Georgia of high school football in the Madison area. Like, you got to be feeling great about things, right?
Yes, you think so. A 7-7, I thought it was the first quarter score when I heard,
yep.
Oh, that was the end of regulation. Wow. But again, you've got two fantastic defenses. You know, Coach Beckwith will talk about that, but both teams are kind of mirror images of each other. Mm-hmm. The front sevens are two of the best in the area, if not the state.
They definitely are, and like Dennis said, end of regulation, it's 7-7, and they go to overtime. Monona Grove has the ball first. MG scores a touchdown. They then go for the extra point, the field goal extra point. It gets blocked, so then Waunakee gets the ball. Waunakee on that overtime has a 4th and 2.
At the
2-yard line. They score on that 4th down, and then they kick the extra point to win it 14-3. So they were literally inches away from getting the upset win, was Monona Grove, but instead they fall 14-13. And I'm going to be really interested, Dennis, to hear from Coach Beckwith how these guys are responding now. Because that's an emotional game, whether you win or you lose that game. I mean, I'd love to even hear from Chris Graverson, the head coach of Waunakee. Like, how do coaches handle this? I jokingly say, you know, you've covered this sport, high school sports, for over 40 years. You've talked to a lot of coaches. How do they handle games like this? Then you got to turn around. You got to play the next week.
Well, that's why you talk about the 1-0 philosophy and everybody else, and they say it's coaching cliches, but it's true. You focus on the moment. You try to get better every day. You look at the film. What do you pick from it? You get a bad game. You pick a good things, and then immediately get it out of your memory. You have a really good game. You pick a few things. Now you got to move on to the next one. And those are life lessons. Why sports are so important, because you learn how to pick yourself back up. You learn if you got a bad day, hey, I still got to go to work. I still got things. I have responsibilities I have to do. And just because we won it or we lost it, we got to move on. The one that you celebrate it's that championship game. You're all going for that gold ball. You're going first for a conference title, then to make it to Camp Randall, and then to get the gold ball. And as long as you keep the focus on that, this game is okay. Just one more stepping stone.
Yeah, and for Monona Grove in that game, you know, we look at some of the stats. Like, statistically, they put up some good numbers. Jackson Zukowski, their quarterback, went 13 of 28, 177 yards, had 2 touchdowns. Tremaine Habeck, 12 carries, 38 yards. So like you said, Dennis, the front 7 for Waunakee really doing a great job keeping a really good running back in Habeck in check. I mean, he has 279 yards on the season. He averages over 7 yards per carry, and they held him to just 38 yards on the ground. That's got to be really frustrating, and I feel bad for the DeForest defense, because I have a feeling that Habeck is going to be coming out with a little bit of anger and a little bit of frustration after this last week.
And then the other side is, look at it. D'Angelo Clay, 10 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, a sack. As a sophomore, he was honorable mention All-State. He's a stud. And now he's not quite they look at the metrics. Is he 6'2"? Is he big? He's a little short for his position, but he's a junior. He's got to grow a couple more inches. But right now, I think he's a D1 player. But most D1 coaches will say, no, he doesn't. It was like Kleppe, who's one of the assistant coaches, when he was at Mount Hor Barneveld. He ended up at Whitewater because he didn't quite meet the metrics, but he was an All-American. I mean, I thought he was one of the best high school players I'd seen. And Clay, now, it's ironic that Clay, he's got Clay, a guy that's like him.
Yep.
That they can say, hey, yeah, this guy's a stud too. He needs a shot. And he's got 2 years, this year, next year to prove it to the coaches. But, that defense, and McCoy Smith and company for Wanakee holding Monona Grove to 7 points in regulation, the job they did. That was the game. My God, you didn't go to the concession stand. You made sure you were back in your seats when the game started. That was a fun one.
It definitely was. And two, for Wanakee then, they're after last season didn't end the way that they wanted it to. They fell in. It was level 2 to
level 3 to
level
DC
3
Everest,
to DC Everest. And then DC Everest ended up losing in the state semifinal then to the eventual state champion Bayport. But for Wanakee, that's rare for them to lose in level 3, regardless of whatever division it is that they're playing.
Now they're in D1, so they've won titles in 3 and 2. So what's left? When I talked to Coach Graverson, he said, when he got the job, what's the challenge? Well, we're going to have to win one in D1 now. That'll be our legacy or ours, because Pat's got the 2 and 3 pretty much wrapped up there.
Yeah.
Coach Rice, Hall of Fame coach, and Wanakee has not missed a beat. They've done a good job. And MG under Coach Beckwith, that's another perennial one. But it's tough when you have to play a game like that week 1 at conference. Now somebody's 1-0 and MG's 0-1, but that's a team I think we'll be looking at in our poll by the end of the year, just because I think they've got a shot to. We'll see what happens now with the Forest again, and that's both teams can put some points up on the board, as we've seen in the past. So
yeah, they definitely can. And Monona Grove, after, again, we'll see them on Friday night here on it'll be on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania, as they'll take on the DeForest Norskies. But then they've got a tough road game going down to Milton. They also then follow that up with a home game against Sun Prairie East, and then on the road at Oregon to take on the Oregon Panthers. That is a really difficult opening to your conference schedule.
Right, and we talked about the Badger Large. Anybody can eat your lunch. You better have your A game. And coaches talk about consistency and whatever. These are high school kids. It's tougher to get adults to focus, let alone and with all the distractions that they can have. And those first 3 weeks are nice because it's just football. Now you got to worry about school and social issues and everything else you got to deal with.
Grades.
Got to stay eligible, guys. So remember, they are student athletes. But again, I can't believe we're in week 4, and we've had some great games, and that was a great one. That was a game that you like to see week 8, 9, or playoffs, and it was week 3.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, again, we'll be talking to the head coach of the Monona Grove Silver Eagles, Brandon Beckwith, coming up here shortly. But then I just want to touch on the DeForest Norskies, who will be taking on Monona Grove, as they're 1-2 on the season. They opened up their Badger Large Conference play with a 48-7 win over Fort Atkinson, but they played 2 really tough non-conference games, did DeForest. They went on the road to Brookfield Central, a team that DeForest ended up walking it off in overtime against last year, and then they played a really great Reedsburg team, a team that was in our top 10 media poll for a couple of weeks here at the beginning of the season. So they dropped both of those games, but then were able to get back on track here with a win against Fort Atkinson. And I think this DeForest squad, they're the type of team where their record maybe is going to have some fans kind of looking past them a little bit, but this is a really good quality DeForest team.
Yeah, it is. Now it's Todd Grundle's first year as head coach. He's been an assistant, and he was a player there, so he takes a lot of pride in that team. It'll be interesting to see, again, kind of a bounce back after their start. That was a big win for them last week. And, again, these teams have had a really good rivalry over the years, so I'll just throw the records out and we'll see what happens on Friday night.
We definitely will do that, as, again, the Dean and I will be in Monona Grove for the game between the Monona Grove Silver Eagles and the DeForest Norskies coming up this Friday, as this is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly here on ESPN Madison. For more than 50 years, Zimbrick Honda's provided the Madison area with quality Honda vehicles. The trusted staff of Zimbrick Honda's used car dealership will save you time and reduce your car buying stress by finding the vehicle that matches your style. If you're looking for a new or a used Honda, visit Zimbrick Honda just off the Beltline in Madison, or online at ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda. We've been teasing it all show. Coming up next, we talk to the head coach of the Monona Grove Silver Eagles. Brandon Beckwith joins the program next here on ESPN Madison.
You're listening to Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, breaking down more from this week in area high school sports next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Talk Badger sports year-round with the Jump Around podcast.
You know, all I've been hearing is the schedule's this, the schedule's that. I don't really care too much about the schedule.
Tune in for the Top Badgers conversations every week, featuring special guests with Wisconsin players, coaches, and more.
Win the games that you're supposed to win, the games they want you to lose, win too. Or just stay or compete.
The Jump Around, brought to you by Steinhoffels. Streaming live every Thursday on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and in their newly open Milwaukee location. As Wisconsin's largest home solar company, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you.
Gear up for fall with a Brewers Crew Neck sweatshirt giveaway Saturday, September 13th, courtesy of U.S. Cellular. The crew will give away 25,000 of the limited edition Crew Neck sweatshirts. Grab your seats today at brewers.com/giveaways.
Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org, insured by NCUA.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on the Packers. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
When you're having computer problems, you need a company you trust to get things working again, quickly and affordably. Madison Computer Works has been doing that for business and residential customers for decades. Our computer care plans take away the hassle of being without your computer or needing to bring it in for repair. Starting at only $10 a month, our local and friendly techs provide remote help and can fix most problems in just minutes. Call 608-231-8000 and sign up today. Madison Computer Works, computers that work for you.
Badgers volleyball insights straight from the man on the sidelines.
There'll be aspects of what we're doing offensively that our teams have not done before.
Tune into the Kelly Sheffield Show on ESPN Madison, presented by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse.
The hardest ticket in town is for the volleyball match in the field house. I mean, that's really hard.
It's the Kelly Sheffield Show with Badgers volleyball head coach Kelly Sheffield and host John Audius on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, walk around the neighborhood.
Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly continues on, and it's time now for our Midwest Financial Group Coaches Profile. The lineup at Midwest Financial Group consists of coaches for your financial world, organizing the players on your personal team. Behind every great team is a great coach. Let the Midwest Financial Group be yours for your financial planning needs. Head to mfgteam.com to get started today. Advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, a registered investment advisor. We're now joined by the head coach of the Monona Grove Silver Eagles, Brandon Beckwith. Brandon, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us tonight.
Geez, that's a close-up, you guys. How are you doing tonight? Can you hear me? Oh, man.
Hello, Brandon.
Let me try this.
Technology here.
Yeah, and...
Hey, does that work better?
Is VMix on?
Now you can hear me better?
It looks like we're having some technical issues getting Brandon's audio. So I tell you what we'll do here is we're looking to get in touch with Brandon is connected. We're having some technical issues. So we'll take another quick break here, and then we're going to come back, and we'll talk to Brandon on the phone, get a phone call through to him that way, and we'll just talk to Brandon on the phone. So, again, this is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly on ESPN Madison.
More of Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly coming up next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
Come see what the buzz is all about at Madison Axe, Madison's state-of-the-art entertainment spot. Enjoy 8 lanes of axe throwing, interactive games, plus digital target projection and scoring. For even more fun, check out their indoor backyard with 2,000 square feet of shuffleboard, cornhole, yard games, bar table games, and more. Perfect for date night, groups, corporate meetings, or private events. Madison Axe is your destination for all things fun. Throw it, nail it, celebrate. Go to MadisonAxe.com or head to their location on Stoughton Road today.
Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Whether you're in the market for a new or new-to-you vehicle, Metro Ford of Madison has the customer service that's second to none. With a legacy of excellence and an extensive selection of quality Ford vehicles, it's the place to go for the new Ford of your dreams. Browse their inventory, schedule a service, or see this month's offers at MetroFordofMadison.com. That's MetroFordofMadison.com. Or visit them on the east side of Madison today.
At Gruber Law Offices, our biggest priority is the care and service we provide to our clients. We know accidents can be overwhelming, and we're here to help every step of the way. Call now. One call, that's all.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. You can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Listen to Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin on 100.5 ESPN.
This has a chance to completely transform what the Green Bay Packers are doing on defense. I'm not going to put him in the same categories as Charles and Reggie yet, but it has that chance.
Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
The Bucky Badger Student Mascot Fund was created to support the amazing student athletes who bring the best mascot in the world to life.
Hey, this is Gene Cho, Bucky from 03 to 05. Most memorable moment? Definitely getting arrested at a football game for crowd surfing as Bucky. Oof. Maybe not the best shining moment for Bucky.
Your donation will help fund new scholarships to ensure that the rich tradition of Bucky lives on. Learn more at supportbucky.org. That's supportbucky.org.
Want to move better, play faster, and compete at a higher level? Train where Wisconsin's top athletes go. Total Athlete Performance. From middle school phenoms to the pros, TAP is Madison's #1 destination for speed, power, and athleticism. Their proven systems, expert coaches, and cutting-edge equipment help you dominate your sport. Can't make it in? Train anywhere with the TAP mobile app. Spots are filling fast, so don't wait. Visit tapwisconsin.com to schedule your free athletic assessment today.
The care at Stoughton Health was outstanding. My other provider couldn't get me in as quick as I wanted. So when I called Stoughton Health, things were going to happen much quicker, and that's why I decided to come here.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns, it's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
Follow me, everything is alright. I'll be the one to tuck you in at night. And if you want to leave, I can guarantee you won't find nobody else like me.
This is PrepMania Weekly, and now we have head coach Brandon Beckwith on the phone now. Brandon, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being patient with us with some technical issues.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. I don't know if it's on my end or not, but yeah, technology, it's been one of those weeks for that kind of stuff for me as well.
Yeah, I feel like it never ends. Like, whether it was back when there was payphones or whatever, there was just always technological issues. But we really appreciate you taking the time to join us here. And, you know,
I'll take the blame. I'm not nothing to
You're
do
a
with
jinx?
it here. I'm a jinx. So.
You know, Brandon, I hate doing this, but we've got to talk about the game against Wanakee last week.
Yeah.
Okay. He's ready for it.
The 14-13 overtime loss. Could you just take us through? We ran through, the scoring and everything for our fans the previous segment here, but just kind of take us through what went on, what that game was like for you.
I mean, to be honest, from start to finish, it was a tremendous atmosphere for high school football. I mean, it was, it resembled some of the old Wanakee, Monona Grove matchups that we used to have back in the day, and some, when the place was packed and the crowd was ready to rock. And so, we knew going into that game that we were going to bring, whatever we had. And honestly, when we watched them on film and we watched all those things, we knew that we're kind of the same team. And there's great football players on both sides of the ball, very solid football team. And, so we didn't know it was going to be, to be honest, a 7-7 tie at the end of regulation. But, it wasn't because of bad football play. It was actually because of really good football play.
Well, you talk about the defenses, and D'Angelo Clay had an outstanding game for you. It was 10 tackles, 3.5 for loss, and he's just put up some great numbers for you this year. And then McCoy Smith leads them on the other side. So you kind of knew coming in that offensively it was going to be a struggle?
I mean, yeah, yes and no. You don't want to believe that. Obviously, we know how good Smith is and how good Clay is, and they're both special football players in the area here. And like if you watch their relentlessness on the football field, I mean, those guys, their efforts are just impeccable. They're talented as well, but it's like they just have this motor, both guys. They're obviously both wrestlers, and and all these things, and they just fought. And D'Angelo Clay, for us, I can speak on his behalf that he's a special football player. I mean, I'm tell you what, somebody, he's only a junior for us, so we're lucky enough to have him one more football year. But he's a leader. He does things the right way, and he does it for Monona Grove. He just bleeds the blue mentality of Monona Grove, and it was hard coming off the field after that game, not because of how he played a bad game or anything like that. It's because we didn't get the W.
And now, for your team, coming off of a tough loss in overtime like that to Wanakee, you've got to come right back this next week and take on DeForest. How do you feel like the guys have responded now a couple of days into the practice since that loss?
Yeah, I mean, right after the football game on last Friday, I mean, it was one of the toughest losses I've been around, just because of how much work I think some of these guys have put in, and it always hurts a little bit more when you put the work in, and obviously a competitive football game and you're exhausted. So, the turnaround, the mentality for us was, it's kind of cliche, but the turn the page mentality. Monday's practice, we talked a little bit about things, not specifically, alluding to the Wanakee game, but just about how we are competing with ourselves. Okay, that page is turned, and now it's, what are we going to do this week to get better? Number one, and number two, our next opponent is DeForest, and DeForest is a good football program with a lot of tradition in their program. So you turn the page and you got to get after it, and that's the reality of this conference. It's a great conference, and football makes for fun Friday night football games.
Yeah, they got a dual threat quarterback, Isaac Ziegler, who's headed to St. Thomas next year, and being able to pass and run the ball. What kind of things special have you seen a quarterback like that this year, and how do you prepare for somebody like that?
Well, you try to prepare. You don't try to prepare for individuals, as much as you possibly can. Obviously, it's not a secret that he's a very good quarterback, and he's there. But like you said, we can only control what our guys control as a team. We'll have 11 guys, working together, do your job mentality. If your job is to break up a ball that he throws on you, then that's your job. And we're there to support each other. So you can't just focus on one guy. And not to take anything away from him, he is a good football player. And he's going to get some. He might make a big play, and we talk adversity left and right. That was our big piece tonight in practice when we just come off the field, and putting them through some adverse situations right there when the going gets tough, and how are we going to respond? Good players make plays, so a play is going to happen, and it's just how we respond. Do we put your head down and let them keep making plays, or do we figure it out and come together and stop it?
We're joined by the head coach of the Monona Grove Silver Eagles, Brandon Beckwith, here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. Besides their quarterback for DeForest, what else is it that you're telling your guys to maybe look out for that the Norskis do, or things that you're like, hey, this could maybe give us some headaches here on Friday night?
I mean, this DeForest, football in general, is obviously new coaches and come through, and new coach this year, so they're doing some things a little bit different, but the mentalities are still the same. It's still going to be a hard-nosed football game, and that's our mentality too. It's they're going to try to establish run game, and one thing is, what they're going to be good at is taking shots. Obviously, with a great quarterback, they're going to take their shots. So, we have to be. We expect the unexpected, I guess, is the way to say it. That's the thing about week 4. You haven't seen everything yet, and then you just got to be prepared for everything.
Anybody on your team, I guess either individuals or phases through week 3, hard to believe we're in week 4 already, but that you really liked to have made some major strides from last year?
As individuals, I'm not going to talk too much about individuals. Obviously, some guys, Gavin Williams as a wide receiver had a good week last week against Wanakee, and he has some special talent that he can show, and he's just got to continue to grow and sharpen his craft. Our quarterback is a sophomore, Jackson Zukowski, who coming into as a sophomore against Wanakee to a hostile environment in a tight game. He made some pretty big plays, some plays that were pretty special, escaping and making plays downfield. So, those are some gate names you probably haven't heard of much. And otherwise, we have our Clays and Tremaine Habeck is obviously a great running back, and who's had some notoriety in the past. And Colin Hobowitz, our expectations are that he keeps growing as a football player and leading. And on our O-line, D-line, it's very cliche, but we go how our O-line and D-line goes. And I'm a linebackers coach, and so I get on them plenty. And so if our goals are what our goals are, then we have to practice with the championship mentality every practice. And that was our message tonight: is one rep at a time, and what are we going to do from here on forward to improve those situations.
Now, Brandon, we talked to you as a part of our coaches roundtable just before the season was getting started, and something we talked about was with the unlimited contact days and what that's done for a lot of programs. Now that you're through 3 weeks of the season, I was wondering, how has those unlimited contact days, have you seen the effects of that here this early in the season? Like, do you feel like your guys are further along from their understanding of things? Do you feel like there's less from a playbook learning that you've had to do early on in the season?
Yeah, right when the season started, for sure, I felt like we were ahead of things. Like with our installs, and we didn't do a lot of extra. One thing that we did was, and we talked about earlier, is just an extra one night a week kind of deal, Tuesdays. And it does promote accountability. Like when players know that when you have that extra night every week in the summer, that we're going to get together, we're going to do some install work. Then you see them a little bit more in the mornings working out, and so that has the effect of developing that camaraderie in the weight room. Because they know you can't just miss the morning and show up for installs and in the evening. So that part kind of brought together our team a little bit more, and I think you see that. Going into week 3, a Wanakee Monona Grove football game that was played pretty well when you really dissect it a little bit. With not a lot of blown coverages or just general mistakes and things like that. That probably did play into that. Is us making sure that we're focused on that attention.
Something Dennis and I were talking about before you joined us when we were looking ahead at your schedule, and I know you're, like you said, it's a turn the page mentality. You guys aren't looking super far ahead and talking about Sun Prairie East yet, but you guys go Wanakee here to start conference play. You've got DeForest, Milton, Sun Prairie East, Oregon, all teams that Dennis and I have both talked about. Like, those are all playoff teams, along with yourselves being what you've said, like, expectation of being a playoff team and being able to make a run in that. How do you keep your guys fresh? I know we've talked about keeping your guys focused, but like, how do you try and keep your guys fresh when the Badger Conference here it's a slog? It's so difficult week in and week out. How do you keep those guys feeling fresh and ready to go every week?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, because it's a gauntlet, and kudos to our Badger Large Conference. All the teams are solid. Like, it's going to be a Friday nights of fun. And that's kind of what it's about too, with the competition between each other. I have a good relationship with all the catch coaches. They know one thing we do. You just have to know your players. After we lose to Wanakee, we took shoulder pads off them. We just went through helmets practices, and we just kind of gauge how our players are going, and obviously we have a phenomenal trainer. We just, we're all in this together. So, yes, you want to keep your expectations high of grinding and win mentality and all those things, but you're right. I mean, number one is our health and our emotional wellness and all those things. Coming off those tough losses, we have to get the ship back on course, and that's my job and our job as coaches to that's number one. So you do lots of different things. You got to know when to push, and you got to know when to pull back a little bit, and know that this is going to be a grind, and we got to know one practice at a time. It's just a battle between us and how we get better.
I can ask you last one here. Where are they now? Torrin Young was one of my favorite players for your running back who was coaching. You want to give us all an update on what Torrin's up to this year? Former University of Iowa player.
Torrin who? No, just kidding. I love Torrin. Torrin and I, he's actually, ironically, is on Saturday morning, me and a couple coaches are getting in the car, and we're driving down to Iowa City because Torrin's honorary captain for the Hawkeye football game on Saturday. So they got a box for us. So it's going to be some of us coaches that I'll be spending the night with Torrin. And Torrin and I have now, it's not coach and ex-player. Now we're great friends. I'm friends with, his kids all, they come over to my house, and his wife and I are all friends, and we hang out, and it's really it's just one of those situations that you figure out why you do things that you do, and that's just a prime example. I don't care about his stats anymore. I don't care about how good he was. Even though we love to talk football, but the most fun piece is how to see how he's raising his kids, and he's a phenomenal father. Phenomenal husband. He's got his master's degree. He's going to be a great leader in the community. All those pieces is what now he's not a player anymore to me. Now he's a friend.
That's awesome. And that's going to be a really cool experience for you. And it's got to be awesome seeing for you as a coach, somebody you had as a teenager and now a full adult being honored like that and seeing them grow that way. That's got to be so cool.
It is.
That's why you do what you do, Coach, right?
Absolutely.
Well, head coach Brandon Beckwith of the Monona Grove Silver Eagles. Again, we'll be seeing Brandon and his Silver Eagles take on the DeForest Norskies. Brandon, thank you again so much for the time and dealing with those technical issues with us. And we'll be seeing you Friday night, and good luck against the Norskies.
Yeah, it's all worth it. I appreciate what you guys do. You guys, guys like you guys keep this thing rolling and keep the excitement in the air. So truly do appreciate what you guys do.
Well, we love covering you guys. Thank you. And we love talking about you guys. And again, good luck on Friday, and thank you for the time.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Again, that was the head coach of the Monona Grove Silver Eagles, Brandon Beckwith. Again, his squad takes on the DeForest Norskies of them this Friday night, and Dennis and I will be on the call for that one from Monona Grove. A new press box too, by the way. That was something he was telling us. They got an update to the press box at Monona Grove, so we'll get to test that one out for the first time, Dennis.
As long as they got us there somewhere.
Exactly.
We're on a high school field on Friday night, and we're out of the elements. As long as they don't put us on the roof or outside, it's a good night.
It definitely is. But Dennis is, we get done talking to head coach Brandon Beckwith there. This Monona Grove squad, he hinted at it, and I didn't want to make him say it, but their goals are to try and make a run here at potentially going to Camp Randall, right? Like that's the bar that this team has kind of set their standard at for this year.
They've got a great defense. You've got a solid run game. They're breaking a sophomore quarterback in who's done pretty well. Like you said, to get battle-tested with a Wanakee, that's where you play games like that during the season. You try to schedule up in the non-conference season to get you guys ready for the playoff run. And I think they're poised there. They're always been a solid program. And they'll have to bounce back now. They're one back in the loss column, but it'll be interesting to see where they're going to rank. And the rankings are going to be coming out here. I think actually you can go up on Bound. They've got
with the
initial
playoff
matrix going on for it. But Wanakee is definitely in the mix, and Monona Grove will be right there too.
They definitely will be. And really quickly, I still want to talk about, we won't have time to fully go through our large school media poll, but I still wanted to
we can do the countdown here anyway.
Yeah,
right?
we won't do the full countdown because there really wasn't a terrible amount of change from the previous week. Is again, like last week, the Lake Geneva Badgers. Love that one. They stick at number 10. Bayport's still at number 9. Homestead didn't move from that number 8 spot. We did see Hamilton drop down as they are now down to number 7. Number 6 is Kimberly. Number 5, the Muskego Warriors. They moved up that one spot. West De Pere now up to number 4 from the number 5 spot last year. Patrick Greason, their quarterback, he was out there doing a throwing competition week 1 of the NFL season against Matt Ryan outside of Lambeau Field. That's how big of a deal he is as a quarterback for West De Pere. Then number 3, Wanakee. They get that overtime win. They stick at number 3. Then number 2, the Franklin Sabres getting 2 first-place votes. And then number 1, Arrowhead with 12 first-place votes. Again, the number 1 team in the state. So our top 3 didn't move at all from last week.
Watch out for the Badgers. They're averaging 427 yards rushing a game, 3 of 7 passing. You know what you're going to get. Just ask Wanakee from that state championship 2 years ago. They're back on track. Matt O'Grady having a great season at quarterback for them.
They absolutely are, and it's crazy you say great season as a quarterback. I expect him to throw for a bunch of yards like Tyler Woleen, Patrick Greason, but no, he's having a great season running the ball.
Oh, yes.
That's what Lake Geneva Badger does. So wanted to run through all of those. Wanakee, they're doing what Wanakee does. I don't expect a lot of change from our top 3 there, Dennis. Unless somebody loses, it's going to be really difficult for one of them to leapfrog Arrowhead or Franklin.
Yeah, you look at Greason, you're leading West De Pere. They're right there. But, yeah, I think those teams are pretty solid. And you see Muskego there. They had a loss early to Neenah, and Neenah's just outside the top 10. Maybe if one of those teams down today might sneak back up in there. But and McWanago, again, Classic 8. Just take a look at the top 10 poll every week. Just say Classic 8 and a bunch of other teams.
Yeah, McWanago getting 4 points. They ended up being our number 12 because it was such a – this is where you know that there's a lot of consensus on this poll. This is where I can kind of turn into Jim Kornacki because for the last 2 years I've been tabulating the numbers and putting together these polls. When you have your upper teams getting a lot of points, Arrowhead 138 points. 12 first-place votes. You had 120 of their points just off of first-place votes. And then Franklin, 126 points. They only had the 2 first place, but the rest of them, they were sitting there at that number 2 or that number 3 spot. There was a few people that had Wanakee sitting in that number 2 spot. That's where you know that there's a lot of consensus because all 14 voters are like, no. These are the 2 best teams. These are the top dogs. And then it's just kind of everybody else. And that's what we saw with this one because then Lake Geneva Badger sitting at 10, they had 28 points. Then Neenah is the number 11 team. They had just 17. So we see a big gap there even as well. So there's a solid consensus. Our top 10 teams in the state in the large school right there with Badger, Bayport, Homestead, then Hamilton, Kimberly, Muskego, West De Pere, Wanakee, Franklin, and Arrowhead. Any of those other teams, Dennis, from the large school that you want to talk about?
I just mentioned Oconomowoc, too. Classic 8 got a couple of votes, as always. And Holman, that's a team to keep an eye on, 3-0 in the Mississippi Valley. They got some votes, and I'd see watch just like Aquinas in the medium school. I think Holman in the large school from that part of the state.
Again, that's our large school media poll here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. We're also brought to you by Stoughton Health, and they've been providing trusted care close to home. And they are proud to support the student athletes from around the area. From rehab to ortho care, Stoughton Health provides comfort and convenience locally. Visit stoughtonhealth.com to learn more today. We've got one segment left, and that will be our PrepMania on deck. The Dean and I look ahead to this next Friday in maybe it's not just football, maybe there's some other sports or something like that Dennis wants to touch on, make sure that people know that are going on in the area, and that will be coming up next as we wrap up Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly on ESPN Madison.
You're listening to Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, breaking down more from this week in area high school sports next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973, and they're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether it's the sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none and has exactly what you're looking for. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and check out the all-new 2024 Honda Prologue, Honda's first all-electric SUV, or browse their selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Hi, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network. Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows, too. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Bring your family out to the next Forward Madison FC game. Their family special, sponsored by Madison Gas and Electric, is the perfect budget-friendly option for any families to enjoy professional soccer in Madison. For just $21, get your game ticket, plus a meal and scarf. Get your family together and come cheer on the Mingos as they make their playoff push. Head to forwardmadisonfc.com to learn more and get your tickets today. That's forwardmadisonfc.com.
Former basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal is DJ Diesel, and he's coming to the Sylvia on Friday, September 19th. Catch Shaq and his Base All-Stars live. Tickets on sale now at sylvie.com. Don't miss your chance to see Shaq, DJ Diesel live in Madison on September 19th.
Hold your friends close and your rivals closer on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
If the Green Bay Packers are going to build a good enough team around Jordan Love and he can be whatever the step above being a game manager is, I'm good with that. If the Green Bay Packers are winning, getting to the playoffs, if they can win in the playoffs and Jordan Love plays the way that he has, I'm fine with it. My team is winning.
Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Weekdays 4 to 6 on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Wrapping up Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. Also brought to you by Madison College, and they've been around for over 100 years right here in our community. They've grown to 7 campuses all across South Central Wisconsin, including 3 in Madison. Whether you're starting fresh or leveling up your career, Madison College is here for you. Learn more at madisoncollege.edu. That's madisoncollege.edu. And it's time now for our PrepMania on deck. So every week, if you follow ESPN Madison on Twitter, you'll see a graphic that we put out where we talk about area sports going on. We promote the game that's happening. We're bringing that on the air. So for this final segment every week on PrepMania Weekly, Dennis and I will talk about some of the area games that are coming up, whether that's football, cross country, swimming, track when we get to the spring, if, Ashton Rotman, our boss, decides to keep us on the air here and lets us do this into the spring. That's what we'll be doing. We'll be talking about just the area sports and area things that are going on so everybody can know about them and what we're looking ahead to. So, Dennis, I'm going to start, and I'm going to stick in the football side. This will make one of our 2 producers, because we're that big of a deal of a show. We've got 2 producers back in the control room happy, as it's the Milton Redhawks going to the Oregon Panthers, the alma mater of Riley Yauk. The Milton Redhawks are 3-0, Dennis, and they go to the Oregon Panthers. And Dennis, you just saw Oregon play. I think this is going to be a really great battle with 2 teams that can run the ball really well in Milton and Oregon.
Yeah, and Milton has come out hot out of the box, and Coach Dan Prohl took over there a year ago, and he's done just an outstanding job. And interesting enough, he's an Oregon grad, so this is a big one for him. Sorry, Riley, but I think this is this is a playoff type of game. Both teams are wanting to get a W on there because with the new matrix there, these games count.
Well, and I think, too, because we expect this game to be a tight, closely contested battle, this could be the type of game where, let's say things don't go well for Milton through the conference play, and they end up not getting over that 500 record, and they don't end up getting into the playoffs. They'll look back on this game and be like, oh, that's the one that really cost us getting into the postseason. So it's a huge game here early on for both of these teams as they want to try and get that playoff seeding going. And then, Dennis, is there another game or an event that you're looking at?
Well, I think, first of all, the River Valley 40th Annual River Valley Invitational in Spring Green Cross Country, they always draw some teams from out of state, and that's kind of an early season test for teams hoping to get up to Rapids for the state tournament. The other one, a Big 8 game, Janesville, Craig, and Milton, both looking to, if they want to challenge for the conference title, this is one game they got to have. Verona is the obvious big dog coming in, but Middleton had 31 points every game. They struggled Bayport that first one, but they've bounced back pretty well, and Craig's been doing a pretty good job. And then the other big one is Verona started out 0-2, and Memorial still 0-3 now. Verona got their win. Last year, that was a 10-0 game. We called that one down there. With Verona got a touchdown basically on a turnover and it was a scoop and score. Scoop and score there at the end in the second half. So Memorial doesn't quite have the firepower they did a year ago. They're kind of rebuilding this year. And Verona, that was a big shutout win they got last week against Parker. So I think that's kind of a key Big 8 game as well. So two really good ones. And we did talk earlier about Beaver Dam and Sauk Prairie.
Yep, and that was the last one that I was going to bring up, Beaver Dam and Sauk Prairie. This will be a game you can try and do the quad box type of thing for our fans of our content here with Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania games, as you and I, again, will be at Monona Grove and DeForest, but then Daily Dodge TV, they'll be covering this game between Beaver Dam and Sauk Prairie. And Beaver Dam, they're 1-2, but two of their losses last week they fell 28-19 to Mount Horeb Barneveld. Then the previous week they went on the road to Menominee Falls, another really good big school, but they only lost by 2 points in that one. They did win week 1 48-0 over Fort Atkinson, but this is a game for Beaver Dam that they want to really get going on things. They need to kind of get rolling after two tough losses. Yeah. So they're going to really come out hot, I think, in this game against Sauk Prairie. And Sauk Prairie, a really great team.
Yeah, this is kind of a redemption revenge game for Sauk Prairie. They lost 47-14, but it was one of those road games where they just didn't show up, or for some particular reason they played terrible on the road, but at home it was a different story. This one is in Sauk Prairie, and coming off their win off of Watertown, it's a big win for them too.
As again, this is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, also brought to you by Madison Axe. Throw it, nail it, celebrate. Madison Axe is your state-of-the-art entertainment spot with 8 lanes of axe throwing and interactive games. Perfect for a night out with the family or parties. Madison Axe is your destination for all things fun. Go to MadisonAxe.com or go to their location on Stoughton Road today. That does it for the Dean and I as we wrap things up. Thank you to Riley and Owen, our producers. Thank you to the Dean as well as Brandon Beckwith from Monona Grove joining us. This has been PrepMania Weekly here on ESPN Madison.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service